From the Studio 13 Studios in Splendora, Texas.
Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to Hank's Think Tank. So today, I've got somebody in here that's decided to run for the governor of Texas. And he's a native Splendora person and a pretty well-known guy. He did run for state rep back in 2021 or 2022?
2022.
2022. Didn't make it, but came close, and his name is Ronnie Bubba Tullos. Good morning, Bubba. How's it going?
How you doing, Hank? I'm glad to be here. It's been a while.
Pretty good, man. Let me move this mic up for you.
All right.
A little bit so
You got it.
there we go.
Okay.
All right. So you've decided to run for governor.
Yeah.
That's a big leap, man, from state rep. So
It is.
Let's talk a little bit about, your driving forces for that. I mean, why governor? That's such a big, demanding deal.
Because it needs to be done. Things have got to change. The people has to be back in the office. We can't keep going like we're going and being fed a little bit at a time until election season again. The people want someone in office that's behind them, that once they're in there, they got their voices heard. Their concerns are very important to them. And if you notice during election seasons when people run for office, they're always there for you and because they want your vote, correct? I mean, they'll tell you what you want to hear until they get in office. And then you don't hear from them again until what, next election season? It's like feeding the bear. Have you ever where you see the signs that says, do not feed the bear? Why don't you not feed the bear? Because once you start feeding the bear, it starts being dependent. So what you do is if you give the people a little bit of something, string them along until election season, then you make a few more adjustments. All you're doing is feeding them along. That's why you don't feed the bear. When you walk in the office, you need to make a change definitely right off the bat. You don't sit there and string people and say, well, I tried. No, it ain't that you tried. We still have the same issues in general every election year. Mm-hmm. Why? Because nothing is done. Nobody does anything. Once they get in office, they get complacent. They don't really care. Did they really care in the first place? Let me ask you something, Hank. Does anybody know at all these people that are in office? Do you personally know them? Have you ever seen them in Walmart? Have you ever seen them in Home Depot? Have you ever seen them driving down the road? Nobody has, right? People want somebody in there that they can relate to. Wouldn't you? Or do you want to be deceived like they do? I'm not saying everybody does, but I'm saying in general we see it. And how do we see it? Because come 4 years down the road, we're still dealing with the same issues. And then when people start getting too loud, then a little bit is fed to you. We don't feed the bear, son. You know why we don't feed the bear? Do you know why, Hank?
No, I don't.
Oh, because all you're doing is leading them along.
Okay.
That's it.
So we're still dealing with some of the issues that we've been dealing with. Uh-huh. Let's kind of break that down a little bit and get into the weeds on that. What issues in particular are you mentioning?
Let's say we still got problems with the schools. Mm-hmm. Every time you hear something, we got there's issues in the state education system, right? Mm-hmm. Well, what's the issues? Well, we still having issues. If there's been a concern with the state education system all these years, and every elected official that's been in office hasn't been resolved, or at least attempted to make a big dent into it. Mm-hmm. We still have the same problems, right? We have the problems. Is it the teachers? Is it the funding? Is it the kids? What is it? Okay, so what we're looking at is the teachers puts pressure on the teachers because most of the kids show up not wanting to learn, and that steps back into the home, right? I mean, because if discipline was correct in your house, then you have discipline in the schools. You know, you have obedience where the kids are there to learn, not to act up. But since a lot of these kids don't want to go to school, they're being forced to go to school. Okay, because the parent go to jail, get fined, or what have you if they don't go to school.
Right. It's still a state law.
It's still a state law.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's forcing something they don't want to do. So we got to find a resolution for that. Another thing is the teachers' pay. And I spoke to quite a few teachers on what my idea is to resolve this. And I come up with a good solution, and every one of them loved it. I'm not going to open it to say it right now because I don't need to, but there is a good resolution, and I believe it will work. Now, we're talking about why schools still get bonds and why we having issues getting money into the schools. Well, that's a good question. You know why? Because once I get in the office, we need to figure out where all the money's going.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. I mean, you can look at something. Don't mean that the books ain't padded.
Well,
we
the
don't
school
really know.
the school systems generally get
Yeah.
the bulk of our property tax revenue.
That's
That's
property
a lot
tax.
of money.
That's property tax.
And it's a lot.
That's property tax.
Yeah. So,
but there's
where's
always
that money going?
So where's that money going? Where's the toll road money that's supposed to also go to the education? Where's the lottery money that's supposed to go to the education?
Mm-hmm.
That's more. That's an ungodly amount of money. Where's it going? We don't know. Why is the school still in need? A lot of it's not a want, it's a need.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still in need of everything, and they're still trying to push this issue, and it forces the school on having to ask and beg for money and more money, and the teachers need more money for pay. You know, because you got to remember something. The teachers' pay is dictated how?
By legislation, generally, yeah.
Generally,
Yeah.
the county they live in,
Mm-hmm.
the school funding that gets donated. I mean, because if you live in Splendor, Texas, the teachers don't get paid nothing like Porter, Texas, correct? Or A-Leaf or Klein.
Mm-hmm.
The teachers' pays are different. You know, the education's still the same. They graduated from the same spot, but they're working over here at Splendor making $20,000 less than they are over here at A-Leaf. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So is that fair? It's not fair. So we need to resolve this. And every teacher that I've talked to that we met with, I had a good resolution, and they agreed that would more or less work. We need to find out where all our money is going, so we can solve these problems. You know, is everybody getting too much pay
Mm-hmm.
in the government? I mean, where's our money going? All I'm saying is that there's a solution for everything. We just got to find it. And so that goes back to the first responders. Okay, we have issues with the first responders. Everybody loves a fireman. Hardly anybody likes a cop, you know, because first off, their demeanor, they're not. You get the bad with the good. Sometimes the one bad apple ruins the whole bunch. You got one person walk in the room and everybody's attitude changes. Correct? Same situation. So we need to take care of that also. And the pay for the police officers across the board needs to be looked at. Now, I have a resolution for that also that I brought to a lot of police officers' attention, and I've got with several chiefs and officers across the board. And I think that resolution that since I'm a police officer, I'm also a captain at the sheriff's department. All right, and that when I analyze something, I'm always looking for a solution for it, and I think we found a good solution for it. Now, everything has to be worked out. You know that you got bugs and everything, so the pros and cons got to be leveled out across the board where we can smooth it out and then apply it. Well, we still have this issue, and so if all these officials that we keep electing in the office can't resolve these issues, then we need somebody that can. And the person that can is the one that's walked a mile in them raggedy tennis shoes, that mile right along with you. You know why? Because they haven't been there. Have they? No. Because you got to remember something, what did I say at the beginning? Have you ever seen them shopping in Walmart? I'm just throwing that out there as an example that people don't know these people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have to be established in the community years before they get established in an official office, elective office, is what my thoughts are. You can't just come out of nowhere, out of out of a well-to-do house where you're isolated and you're taught to manipulate people because you don't know where they're from. You don't know how they live. Only reason you would even know if somebody told them, hey, these people live like this. They cannot survive like this. Oh, I don't know. I ain't never lived like that. I have. So I can relate to everybody. From growing up, I drank out of the same water hose you did, Hank. I'm just letting you know. And so the people want to be back in the office. They want to have a say-so. They want to have a voice. You don't have a voice if it's people you don't know.
Yeah, so you mean people who aren't politicians by nature.
By nature.
That are just
Yes.
ordinary people.
Across the board.
Okay. So going back to these issues that we were discussing with teachers' salaries and police officers' salaries and such, how would the role of governor work at changing those? Because a lot of those things are left to, even agency level stuff. I mean, the agency you work for can dictate what the officer's salaries become.
You're right.
So do you think the governor should be in a position to institute some sort of minimum-based rule or something like that? Do you think the state should get more involved in what
and not the control of the and not in the control of the sheriff's department or the city municipality, not to control that, but the pay.
Okay.
And the reason why is that, have you ever been to a small town, you got like 3 officers? The reason why is because nobody wants to work there, because they can't survive there. They can't make a living making nothing. So they leave. They go to another agency that pays more. So how can you across the board keep a city safe, a town safe, if you don't have no officers? You're dependent on reserve officers. In the state of Texas, we have reserve officers.
Right.
That's somebody that's on call, that's not on a scheduled time, okay? That means we could call you in because we're going to keep your commission and you give us this many hours, whatever is dictated by the policy of the department, that you need to work for me to hold your commission. Well, they'll find somewhere else. Or they may come in, I can't come in, because they're working. They have a full-time job that supports their family, okay? So it's not right for that town and the citizens in that town or surrounding areas to depend on officers they don't have. So we need to make that all across the whole board where it's regulated by the state, okay? That way this officer making $42,000 can work over here anywhere he wants to, making the same amount, is what I'm getting at. Because right now it's dictated by what? The taxes,
Right.
the revenue of the tickets,
the available amount of funds.
That's it. Thank you. Exactly. Right. So that's not fair. So if I lived in Corsicana or Corrigan or wherever, if I lived there and there's 3 officers there and an incident happened and they're hung up, and guess what? Who's to say you got a reserve or anybody working? Because nobody could work. So you got one person working the whole town, the whole area. And so he gets called. Now what are you going to do? You got 3 incidents happening. You got this right here, aggravated assault. You got missing child over here, abuse. And how are you going to handle all that? You know why? Because you have no officers there to do that. And then they're going to look at you and say, well, we got a police officer. So now you hate. Now people are going to get mad because you're not there on time to help them out. So that's not right, because police officers can't live on nothing if you're not getting paid anything. So I've had a meeting with a lot of officers just to give them my idea on what I thought. And like I said, I'm not going to spill it out, but everybody agrees what my thoughts are or a good solution to this issue. It should have been done a long time ago, Hank.
Okay.
We should not have these issues every election season, and they keep carrying it on and on and on. We are tired of that. If there's an issue, let's resolve it. We need to take care of that issue now, or at least try to minimize the issue, okay? Because I don't know if we're going to be able to solve every problem, but we can get to most of them. And the concerns of the people are very important, right? I mean, your concern might not be important to anybody else or me, but it's very important to you. I want to hear it.
Sure.
Because if we can take care of that problem, the reason why you put me in office, why did you put me in office? Because you want your voice to be heard, correct? Well, I'm here. You know why? Because I have the same concerns or almost related to the same concerns as everybody else. I want my voice to be heard. You cannot be heard if you're silent. And then the only time they want to hear you, if they're even listening, is during election season or close to election season. We're tired of that. So now it's time to put the people back in office where everybody has a chance to be heard, is all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I got meetings lined up. Mayors are wanting to talk to me. We have a lot of things on plan. I do believe that I'm the one that needs to try to solve all this because I listen. I am a problem. I try to be a problem solver, you know, and not everything can be. You can't make everybody happy, right?
Right.
You can't do it.
It's an impossibility.
I mean, that's exactly. But you can listen to their concerns and see if we can make it easy for somebody because not everything has a resolution to it. You know, I don't know what everybody's needs are until you tell me, and I want to hear them. You know, we have protests. Why do people protest? Because nobody's listening to them. They just want to be heard. First Amendment right. They just want somebody to hear them, so they protest because they're tired of asking. You know, they're tired of saying, hey, look, so they get fed up, they protest, they want to shut down the road, all because their voice is not heard.
Okay.
You know, and then what happens? End result, they protest, there's a riot, or people go to jail. So it's an easy solution on that. You got a problem, let me hear it. That's what I'm here for. If you got an issue, let's talk about it. It's not that big of a deal. You know, don't get aggressive with me. Don't get thrown out of hand. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about it nice, and we're going to come up with a solution or resolve the issue or get close to it, and maybe we can even work together to do the best we can to minimize it. I don't know until we're talked about it. But right now, everyone involved that has an issue are not being heard. You know, they say you turn to your state representative, correct?
Right.
You got a problem, turn to your... Okay, so...
Yeah, you go up the line of succession.
So let me just tell you something. Everything that is told to your representatives are prioritized, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's not important. That's not important. This comes before that. Well, be honest with you, they're all important.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to throw all this to the side and say, I'm just going to do this select few. That ain't the way it works. You call your state representative. Me personally, if I'm elected governor, I want to hear everybody's problem. That's why you elected me in, right? You want to know that you want the safety and security of your family when you live in the state of Texas, across the board. You want to know if you can walk outside and not have to worry about anything without being shot up, ran over, or what have you because of somebody else's problem. That's what you want to hear, but nobody's doing anything about it. I don't care how you sugarcoat crap, it's still crap. So when you go and call somebody, a lot of people don't call the state representative. Why? Because they don't see it even gets through to anybody. And it doesn't. A lot of times it doesn't. And that's proof in the pudding by you asking anybody that's already called the state representative and they still ain't got resolved and it's still been years and they still ain't got nothing done because nobody cares. You know what? Me, as your governor, I'm not your ordinary governor. I want to know everything. I'm not going to be selecting anybody out because I want to hear it. And somebody, if they told somebody, that somebody better tell me, is all I'm saying. Because it ain't fair and it ain't right. Because if you voted me in, even if you didn't vote me in, I'm still there for you. Okay? Because the whole purpose is that the people want to make sure that they're heard. Right? So if you got a voice and they're tired of the lies, people that get elected in the office, all they do is want to manipulate and fill your head full of crap and promises that never get resolved or even happens. And that, Hank, is across the board with 90% of the people that you'll ever talk to. Because I know. I done did a survey and I done walked around and talked to everybody.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that an extended legislative session would help? Because like right now, our legislative session is pretty short,
Yes.
and it's only every 2 years.
It is.
And so maybe that's one of the reasons why a lot of the complaints and issues that people, and even new legislation that gets written doesn't get passed because it never makes it through calendar and such because there's just not enough time. So do you think the legislative session should be extended?
I think so.
Should
and
it be ongoing and continuous, or
what
do you think?
I mean, I tell you
as
what.
governor, how would you like to see it?
Well, I like to see it that I would like to see it at least extended at least the majority of the time. You know, it ain't got to be 100%, but you're not going to resolve issues and take care of problems if it's compressed down shortly because you got to get you only got so much time to get it in.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that right? So yeah, I agree. We need to extend it. How far? I don't know. It's always up for discussion.
Mm-hmm.
It can be talked about, and we can decide what's best. But right now, I agree with you. I mean, I've said that many times. It's something that has to be done.
Yeah.
So, and
I think that'd be a hard piece of legislation to pass. And the reason why is because most of the state legislators, I mean, state legislators don't make anything. I think they make $700 a year or something like that.
Yeah, $7,200,
it's
something like that.
Some kind of really oddball number. So they can't spend their whole life there in session. Couldn't afford it. A lot like police officers and.
I agree.
So, I mean, that's something that
state representative, they don't pay nothing.
So that's something that would have to be addressed as well.
It would be.
Yeah.
Everything has to be addressed. So when you do that, everything around it would have to be talked about and discussed. I mean, like I said, it just drags on. And nothing gets resolved.
And the money has to come from somewhere.
And the money has to come from somewhere. And I got a plan for that.
Okay.
I do have a plan for that. I can't relay the plan right now, but we got people I got to talk to.
Okay.
And it's already, I got to set up a meeting, and it's a good plan. The revenue is going to come, and we're going to get it. All right.
Okay.
And so on top of that, since we already discussed that, we're going to talk about gun control.
Okay.
See, I like to jump around a little bit because when I'm on a subject,
gun control's a big deal.
I try to get several subjects in without delay because you always push for time.
Sure.
And so, gun control, people have a problem with it. Let me just say this: there's never been a law in the history of humanity that can stop a criminal ever. Name me one law that stops a crime. None. What that is a penalization on if you committed that crime.
Allegedly,
this is what you get.
Allegedly, a deterrent.
Allegedly, it depends on your lawyer and going through court. But the whole point is if you stole something, let's just hypothetically say you stole something, your penalty for this crime could be A, B, or C, right? So you know this. So when you go commit that crime, expect it once you get caught. It doesn't stop you from doing the crime. It's supposed to be a deterrent, basically. Okay, some people go, well, I ain't going to jail for that.
Right.
And the other people in their mind, because maybe it's their the way they grew up, their environment, they're a product of their environment because that's all they know. But they know the penalties. Sometimes they make a lifelong career in prison or jail because it's in and out and it's like a family vacation. Mm-hmm. And you see that all the time. But the whole point is there's no stopping crime. It ain't ever going to happen. You've seen it, no matter what laws are done. So we're going to talk about gun laws on top of that, on stopping crime. Gun laws. You know me, Hank, I teach gun classes. I'm really about the safety of the gun and people having self-protection, protecting you, protecting their kids is very important to protecting family. I consider everyone in Texas my family. Sometimes you got one, I got a few of them that's in jail. Everybody does. Everybody's got some, so you treat them accordingly, but you're still family. So in Texas, I take care of family. All right. So I want you, and I know there's some people don't believe in guns. So let's just say this. You eliminate guns altogether. There's no guns in the whole state of Texas. None. Done. Okay. Does that stop crime? No. Does it stop from somebody being aggravated assaulted? No. Does it stop that robbery? No, it does not. What I believe does, and I teach this in my class, is that it keeps you the distance away from the criminal. Okay? The worst thing you want is to have somebody get a hold of you, and the only thing you can say is, only if I would have. Think about this. If you had your little girl, she's 18 years old, she's going off to college, right? How many college students that you know of that's been raped and killed? You see it in the news all the time. No self-protection. That's your little girl. She couldn't protect herself at all. You know why? Because people are against guns. But you know what? That criminal just sliced her up, beat her, and raped her. He didn't have a gun. Imagine that. Wouldn't you want her to protect herself? I always said, I'd rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6. And if you have to say only if I would have, that means it's already too late. Can you imagine the pain that they had to go through before they finally killed them? No. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to see that. So I believe in protecting yourself. And I believe okay, we'll go back. There's no guns in Texas, right? Who has the guns?
All the crooks.
All the crooks.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they're criminals. They don't abide by the law.
Right.
All the law-abiding citizens were forbidden to carry a gun to protect themselves because the people that make the law see that it's not necessary to have a gun, but yet the criminals have a gun. How many shootings, killings, rapes, and all this other stuff are caused by guns that shouldn't have been in the hands of a criminal? They still going to have them. So if they took all our guns away and the criminal still got a gun, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Nothing. So what happens? They may not get caught, right? They just killed you and your kids and everybody else. So who's going to catch them? Well, if nobody sees it, they don't ever get caught. So they get away with it.
But Texas is an open carry state.
It is.
So you don't even have to have a license at all. You can carry a gun all day.
It is. But only thing I'm saying is that I believe that everyone that's law-abiding citizens should carry a gun.
Yeah.
Okay. And
so
in
you
the state
support
of Texas,
the Second Amendment, and yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
So if you, if in the state, I see I believe there's some changes that need to be done. Not only because I'm a police officer, but also I'm an instructor.
Okay.
And I deal with the public more than most people do.
Mm-hmm.
I've taught thousands through the years, thousands of people on getting their handgun license and all this. Sometimes I see things that it didn't ever make sense to me on why the law was passed to prevent a legal citizen that has no criminal background, heinous background, from getting gun. We got open carry. You don't have to take a course, a handgun class, to open carry.
Right.
Okay. The constitutional carry, that's what this is for state residents only. Okay. You can't go to Louisiana without a license. You have to have a license from the state of Texas to carry a handgun into Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, so on and so forth, right?
Right.
It's just the way it is. That's the way they say it. Recipient of the state that they see that you have a license to carry. You've been through a class. You're good. Now the law says if you just Constitution carry, it's allowed here. All right. So with no training, but you take the class for other benefits. Okay, without doing a background check, of course. Going into certain establishments, some signs say unlicensed carry of a firearm is a felony. You ever read that?
Mm-hmm.
Going through in there.
Right.
Unlicensed. So if you have a license, that means you're good. So, going in the school zone. So when they applied this, it's restricted, is what they did. They've restricted it. So it's a revenue. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you pay your $42.50 to the state. It's a revenue. I mean, it's a revenue that you can't really take it away. Why? Because once you start taking a revenue away, it deplenishes the money that the state gets.
Right.
So definitely you can't say, oh, it's all free. So it's restricted, and like I said, other states don't recognize that. They recognize maybe if they got a Constitution carry in their state don't mean you can just drive to another state without a license.
Right.
And so it's got its benefits, you know. And now we're talking about where they profile people on carrying a gun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got something now that, if I can remember correctly, on let's just take motorcycle clubs,
Mm-hmm.
not gangs, clubs. You know, let's just take for example them. They're profiled on because if you carry a gun and you belong to a club, they consider it a gang, but it's a club that automatically you shouldn't be carrying a gun, even though you have no criminal background.
Right.
You're free and clear. You know, but you're associated with
Mm-hmm.
this group, and so we're going to profile on you. Well, how's that right? You know, because I ride a bike.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, the Freemasons got a motorcycle club. You got the Thin Blue Line.
Mm-hmm.
That's a police officer's motorcycle club. They also get. I mean, people get profiled on because they ride a bike. It's just that look, that culture that they see that's related to.
And does that profile prohibit you from purchasing a handgun? Is that what it is?
No.
The FBI check comes back bad on you? Or?
Oh yeah. So well, if you're in the system
Mm-hmm.
as being affiliated with it, and how that happens. So if I pull up and I see a 1% club, and you know what it is, okay, and they haven't never had a background check or anything. Okay, they haven't got a criminal background. Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make sure you do. So we're going to take your picture. We're going to put it in a data bank, you know, what have you. And so now you're affiliated with a 1% club.
Okay.
So now, even though you ain't got a criminal background and you can lawfully have a gun, now it's done restricted. Now you're a bad guy, just automatically. You know what? This profiling, this stereotyping's got to come to an end. All right, somebody's got to get a handle on it, and so I look at everything down to the most minute issue down to the large issues. I want to know what can we do to solve this problem. Now we can't make it a perfect state, you know, because that ain't never going to happen. Because you're still going to have your problems, but we can minimize a lot of it. And why haven't that already been done? Why are we still dealing with this? So my thoughts is once I'm in office, I ain't saying if, I'm saying once I'm in office, we're going to start trying to resolve all these problems or get close to it. I'm only a short time period in office, so we can do what we can. And so I want to hear the issues. Now, if you got 35 million people in the state of Texas, and everyone had a problem, but everything can be narrowed down because not everybody's got a single problem where it's 35 million problems. You know, you know, you could probably have 3 million people have the same issues. So we just break it all down.
Okay.
And then we start looking at, and then what we can do is what I was thinking about doing is that we get a team, or we get a group together, and then we try to see if we can't find out what we can do to take care of these problems. They may be small, I don't know, but I mean, if you have a problem, Hank, wouldn't you want somebody to know about it?
Sure.
I mean, instead of just talking it to death and speaking to your buddies, it don't get nowhere. So don't you think we need to have somebody in there that listens? You know me for years, and everybody around here knows me. They know what I do when I wake up, basically to who I've been with, to what the issues I've had. So nothing I have is a secret. There's no secret. I mean, everybody knows who I am. They've been around me. If you want to know who I am or what kind of issues, or if this is a lie, ask me. I'll tell you. You know that, ain't?
Right.
I mean, people have been knowing me in my community for years, and I try to take care and help everybody I can, and I've always done that. As soon as it comes up, I say, what do you need? You know, I may not be the richest man. I probably ain't got what you need, but I'll try to make a phone call, and everybody knows that. Hold on, I'll probably see what I can do for you. And I've been doing that before, since I was little. So instead of all these people that would keep getting in office, which were limited, you got to remember, when somebody runs for a position, you're only limited to 3 or 4 people running. So that's who you got to
Mainly
deal with.
after some of the ones get weeded
Right,
out.
right. After you weed them out. So, but it ain't like it's hundreds, is what I'm getting
Right.
at. So you got a bare minimum that runs for a position. So now you got to figure out who they are. Well, I think before you start electing, find out how they lived, where they grew up at, just stuff like that. Right now, we don't know these people. Do you?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't never heard of these people until they ran for office. I mean, where are you from? What, 10 people known you your whole life?
Right.
I mean, what does that mean to me? That don't mean nothing. I can buy off 10 people, but you can't buy off thousands.
Right.
So, and that's how I'm behind everybody. That's who I'm for, and that's why I'm here, is to run for a state governor to make sure that we make a change and that your voice is heard. Your message is clear. Mr. Texas is here. So that's why I'm here, brother.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about campaign fundamentals.
Campaign fundamentals, all right.
You're looking at over $3 million to run a successful campaign like this.
Easy. Mm-hmm.
How are you going to raise that kind of money?
Well, that's a good question.
That's a great question.
That's a great question. You
Not
know
only
what
that,
I
but
figured?
not only that, but before you even begin to raise that kind of money, you've got campaign filing
Yes, I
fees.
do.
You've got legalities involved
Yes.
in filing. So, I mean,
Yep.
are you on top of all that already?
Already on top of it. I got
Okay.
like a team of 20 right now in my campaign.
Okay.
And everybody has everybody is in their position and is good at their position.
Okay.
I got from the lawyer all the way down to the ground pounder. Everybody's in position. Actually, I got a meeting this evening at 2:00 with the campaign team, and to go over our strategy and what's going on. Now, the way I see it, that God put me here at the time I needed to be here, okay? And so everything's running like a well-oiled machine right now.
Okay.
And it's just everything fell in place. When I first started this, I got with my son. And my son, he's really good at what he does. And so he was on top of it. As soon as I put it out there, everybody for every position that was open, without me saying what position was open and what was needed, was the person that fit the bill. Every one of them. That was ironic. I was talking about the other night. I said, how can that be? We didn't have to hunt nobody. I put on there, hey, I'm running for governor, and who wants to be on my campaign? And everybody that contacted me fit the bill.
Okay.
If Jesus Christ didn't put that there, I don't know who did. I mean, it's just like it fell in place. Sometimes you have to say, okay, we got to find somebody in advertisement, or we're going to have to find somebody in IT, or this like this. But everybody came up, and they had the skill for that position. And I didn't say nothing on what I needed.
That's great.
That's just kind of weird, ain't it? It's ironic how that just fell into place like that. So on the campaign funding, we have some good ideas, and there's a lot of people with a lot of money that. I'm just going to say this: a dollar helps.
Sure.
Every dollar helps. If you had, and there's 35 million people in the state of Texas, if everybody donated $1, that's $35 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. That even the small amounts make a big difference.
Okay.
You get a lot of small amounts, they accumulate to a large amount. Now, don't get me wrong, the big donations does help, and the donations help for the campaign. Okay, it's for advertising, travel, and everything else, the signage, and whatever's involved in all that, and that's all it's for in pay the campaign team. But besides that, I think if it's there, it's there.
Have you already got a website set up?
Yes, the
and
website's
Facebook?
already set up.
Okay.
It just got set up and started running.
Okay.
I put it on Facebook.
Okay.
Okay. It's just the Texas flag, and it has the web address on there, but it doesn't say what it's for. So we're going to.
Okay.
I looked at that this morning, and I got to get with them this evening at 2:00 and let them know that we need to change that, so
Okay.
people know what to look in, to click and see what it's for. Now, I did put in the comments what it is for, but it needs to be advertised on there.
And what's your Facebook page?
Right now,
Bubba Tullos or what?
right now it's Bubba Tullos.
Okay.
Okay, that's just my personal page.
And that's Tullos, correct?
Tullos.
Okay.
And so the web page is also on there. And then any advertisements we got coming up, we have like I said, the music video that's coming up in Cold Springs, Texas, June the 1st at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Anybody likes to join it, just come in, just to set in to help help me out to shoot the video. That's good. It's a friend of mine. I've been knowing him for a long time. Young cat. It's a rap video.
Okay.
I had a phrase that I thought would sound good in the jingle. So I called him up, and my phrase that I told him to start with was, "Your message is clear, Mr. Texas is here." So he took that and he went with it, and it's a great song. Everybody I played it to loved it. So his producer and several other artists is going to be there, and they're going to they wanted to produce a video for this song that he made for me running for election. So that's what this is about. June the 1st in Cold Springs, Texas.
Okay.
Is where we're going to have it. I have a meeting with the mayor in Del Rio. He reached out, so his associates and everything. So I got to be up there this week. They want to talk to me also, and then we have several other meetings lined up. I got to find out more about them.
Okay.
People keep contacting them and wanting to set up meetings with me, and the most thing that I keep getting out of this is that all these people, and they're not just people that go to work at any store. These are people in elected positions that are fed up with the same crap.
Okay.
Because nobody pays attention to them either, and it's like they're forgotten about. And so, as a state official, when you're in a higher position like governor, you can more or less have more control over what is being said and done. You know, I want to hear the problems because I got the same problems.
Okay.
And so, people are just sick and tired of it. That's the reason I'm running, is for the people of the state of Texas. My family is the people of the state of Texas. That's why I'm running. And that's why I'm here, Hank.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, I appreciate you coming in, man.
You got it.
So I know you're busy and need to put together some fundraisers and some meet and greets.
Well, we got another thing that's going to advertise is right here in Splendora, Texas, right here at A&M Donuts at the parking lot. Is going to be a fundraiser. Also, it's outside, but it's also June the 7th.
Okay. A&M Donuts, my favorite place.
I know, man. Lynn's they're the best, ain't they?
Really are, yeah.
So I'm gonna have something there.
Okay.
And I'm looking I got to call somebody. My cousin, I called him, but he's booked for a catering truck.
Okay.
You know, barbecue truck, whatever, wagon, and what have you. So we're going to make that at Splendora, Texas. If anybody like to come, June the 7th.
Okay.
And it's going to be after 12. I don't know exact time, maybe 12, 1, 2 o'clock is when it's going to happen. So we also have something there. That's just the start. Right now, we're at ground level. We're just starting.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, all this is foundational. Right.
It's definitely, because you got to remember something. I'm well known here in about 4 or 5 counties, but we got 254 counties.
It's a lot.
That's a lot, and not every county is a lot of these big counties are more farmland,
Sure,
but they also
they're rural. Yeah.
They're rural, and they have issues also, and they need to be heard too. So, you know, instead of me going to selected areas, I want to try to hit a lot of areas. So if anyone needs me to come and visit them, I'm going to be more than glad to come and see you. Just get a hold of my campaign team, or if you could, leave something at the website for me, and we see if we can make arrangements for that to happen.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I'll be paying attention to this campaign as it moves forward, and I'll let the public know what's going on when I can.
All right.
So, but good having you in. I'm glad you've decided to throw your hat into another ring. I mean, state rep was probably a tough race, and you did well in Splendora.
Well, for me not to advertise,
Yeah,
I mean, all I did is name recognition and popularity. Is how I
That's
even got beat him out in Montgomery County.
kind of a test market for you.
It was,
Yeah.
and I mean, it was just, and that's what I say. We're getting into it. I'm gonna see how far it would go
Okay.
without doing anything,
Mm-hmm.
and that's basically what I did. And
Yeah.
so, and it worked out well. It worked out where I wanted it because I knew I wasn't going to win it because you have to work on winning.
Sure.
You can't just assume that just selected few is the only ones that hear about you, and that's the only ones you're going, and that's going to spread it. But you got to get out there and tell the people what they need, and that you understand their needs, and that you're there to help them with their needs. So, them 4 counties, I was well known in Montgomery County. The other counties I am known, but not as much as the accommodative was. Has been established there longer
Right.
before I was. So he had more.
And they outspent you too.
And they did outspend me because, like I said, I just got in to see where I was.
Sure.
And so it worked out just the way I planned, just like I told everybody I was going to do from the get-go. Now, the reason why I'm going from governor from this to state rep to governor is either go big or go home, Hank. Go big or go home. And you can't do nothing when you're at a low level.
Yeah.
You know, all you got is another voice that nobody's listening to.
Yeah.
So at least
Okay.
I'll be in a position where everybody can hear me.
Okay. Well, I wish you the best of luck in this campaign. If there's anything I can do to spread the word, you let me know.
You got it, Hank.
All right. Well, there you have it, guys. Ronnie Bubba Tullos, he's throwing in his hat for governor of Texas. And, he's going to do it. So go to the Facebook page for now. Go to the website. If you want to talk to him, he's easy to get in touch
Easy.
with. If you want to make a donation, I'm sure he'd appreciate that. He's going to need to raise a lot of money to be able to run a successful campaign. Okay, guys, well, that's it for me for today. I'm Hank Vatt. This is Hank's Think Tank, and we're going to see you Tuesday at the Hurricane Preparedness Seminar. And, of course, that's going to be at 6 p.m. at the Atrium Center here in New Caney. Be there. It's free. It's going to be wonderful. And come shake my hand.
Well, can I reiterate on that, Hank?
Absolutely.
Real quick.
Sure.
I wish I was going to be there. It's something I really want to be there for. But since I was obligated in being in the color guard at the Astros game on that day, unfortunately I can't be because I don't want to break an obligation, and these guys depend on me. So I hope everything works out well, and I know I'll hear Hank and hear all about it when I watch his views in his show. So just remember this, I'm always there for you. And thank you, Hank, for having me on.
You're welcome, man. Have a good evening.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. That's it.